Hello, I am Angelus Demonus, and in this video, we'll discuss how to level your Arm Armor Aetherpool if you're solo. Some of us just want to do this journey all by ourselves, the true solo challenge, but trying to level your all-important Arm Armor solo introduces an interesting challenge right out of the gate. Most will suggest you run it with a match party or with 1 to 3 friends. Let's be real. Match party could take ages to queue, and gathering some buddies just to help you could feel like a hassle. I'm sure our friends wouldn't mind, but that feeling of not wanting to waste people's time is a vibe. I'm here to tell you it's very possible to level your Arm Armor by yourself. I'll go over a game plan on how you can efficiently level your Aetherpool as a completely solo runner if your goal is the Lone Hero title. As a frame of reference, I had attempted to obtain the Lone Hero title on the Square Nexus cloud servers that they were testing out back in November of 2023. This involved me having to unlock Heaven on High, build the Arm Armor from zero, and within a 1-week time limit clear floor 100 before the servers were shut down. I also did a challenge run which I called the Roguelike challenge on Warrior, where I attempted to clear Heaven on High starting at 0-0 Arm Armor and going to the end without any additional farming. I was successful in this challenge in 5 attempts, which was a very eye-opening experience of what you are capable of doing in Heaven on High. We'll be using all this recent experience and all my years in Deep Dungeon to give you guys a guide to work with. Welcome to Heaven on High. Let's give you guys a starting scenario and a quick summary of your goals. You just unlocked Heaven on High, so your Aetherpool is at 0-0. You don't have any Empyrean potions, most importantly, you are solo. Your first goal, clear floor 30 to unlock floors 21 to 30. Your second and main goal, farm 21 to 30 and level your Aetherpool to at least 60 in Arm, Armor, or both. The general strategy method and info. Since you would have needed to clear Palace of the Dead to unlock Heaven on High, I will assume you will know how silver chests work. If for some reason you needed a refresher or explanation, I suggest checking out the previous POTD Aetherpool Farming and Leveling guide in the description below or using the card link at the top right of this video. The only change you'll experience in Heaven on High is that Magicites can come from silver chests starting at floor 7. Unlike Palace of the Dead, utilizing 2 files will likely not be necessary for getting to at least floor 30. You only need to reach up to floor 30, as floor 21 to 30 is your target farming location. Clearing floors 21 to 30 will give you a +1/+1 Arm Armor and an Empyrean potsherd, which definitely helps expedite getting your Aetherpool to at least 60 and prepping you for your first Lone Hero attempts. The game plan. The enemies in Heaven on High are very squishy from floors 1 to 30, so any job will be just fine. Tanks and healers will still have an advantage on survivability, but will not be as noticeable like Palace of the Dead. While it is theoretically possible to clear Heaven on High without any Aetherpool pre-farming from floors 1 to 100, I definitely do not suggest this for first-time runners of Heaven on High. I mean, you can, I won't stop you from trying. It will also come down to what job you ultimately want to obtain Lone Hero on that could dictate if you can start at a lower or higher Aetherpool. Melee, for example, may be quite the challenge with the lower Aetherpool start, whereas tanks will be able to get through at a lower Aetherpool. No matter what job you will choose to use to go from floor 1 to 30 for the first time, you generally won't need to reset your files and should be able to go straight to floor 30 on your first attempt. If for some reason you are having issues getting past floors 11 to 20, which in my opinion would relatively be the most difficult set from floors 1 to 30, you can start a second file to level your Aetherpool further in order to make it easier to get to floor 30. You also won't need to mind your job levels like in Palace of the Dead. You will be able to reach level 70 as early as floor 9 or 10 or as late as floor 15. It won't make too much of an impact on your overall strength against the enemies and bosses outside of not having a few abilities if you are a lower level. Speaking of floor 15, if you have managed to pick up a Fortune and Magicite, Floor 15 is a guaranteed big room or Hall of Fallacies. This is a very good opportunity to fortune plus magicite and kill all the enemies on the floor for more chances of silver chests and Aetherpool upgrades. You can certainly do more fortunes and magicite combos if you encounter other big rooms on your climb up. Strength and Steel for bosses is a great idea, but it will also be very useful on the floors, especially in floors 11 to 20. Hopefully, the aforementioned information got you from floor 1 to floor 30 relatively quickly, or if you already have floor 30 cleared and your Aetherpool is low for whatever reason, you can move on to the next part, the grind. The goal of the grind. I recommend getting at least 60 Aetherpool in Arm, Armor, or both before trying for the Lone Hero title. You are very welcome to start at a lower Aetherpool level, especially if you are a tank. More so if you want to go right into progging the floors. Because Heaven on High is 100 floors, having to go back to floor 1 is not as much of a grueling process as it is in Palace of the Dead. Floor 21 to 30 will be the best place to farm and level your Aetherpool, even if you are starting at no Aetherpool due to trading it in for Aetherpool grips for weapon glamours. This is mainly because the enemies are fairly squishy and pretty easy to kill. Once you hit roughly 50-50 Arm and/or Armor, upgrades will start to slow down, but getting the free +1/+1 upgrade by beating the floor 30 boss will help you progress your Aetherpool at a steady pace regardless if silver chests are nice to you or not. As a note to first-time runners, farming floors 21 to 30 is the best place to farm Empyrean potsherds, which are needed for Empyrean potions, or the all-important regen potions that are highly recommended to have when attempting to go for the Lone Hero title. Why at least 60 Aetherpool? When I did my Roguelike challenge run on Warrior, where I attempted to clear Heaven on High starting at 0-0 Arm and Armor, I cleared floor 100 at 68 Arm and 52 Armor. I think for first time runners it would be safe to say having a base of 60 Aetherpool should get you fairly close to the 99 cap starting from floor 1. Considering first time runners will still need to learn and prog the Heaven on High floors, taking a KO at any point would mean you would have an even higher starting base Aetherpool at floor 1. Hopefully this guide helps you understand how to get started with your Aetherpool as a solo player. I can understand how it can be intimidating starting from base Aetherpool, although luckily Heaven on High is a lot more relaxed to level it versus Palace of the Dead. If you have any questions on this guide or tips to add from your own experience, please leave it in the comments below and it would be very much appreciated. I have also posted the full VOD of my Cloud server run and my Roguelike challenge run in the description below. They will give you a great look at my real-time experience of unlocking Heaven on High, starting from 0-0 Arm and Armor and going for the Lone Hero title. Thanks to everyone for the continued support on YouTube and Twitch, and don't forget to check out our merchandise store for Deep Dungeon apparel below the video. Have a wonderful day.